A similar proposal comes from Jane English, who wrote this kind of original proposition back in the 70s. So she actually goes further and suggests that we should create new types of sports which better reflect female biology. So um, one of the things that English notes is that sex differences between men and women are not brute disadvantages. It's not the case that within sports, within all sports across the board, being taller is better, being stronger is better, being heavier is better. Instead, English notes that in some sports, women actually have a natural advantage over men due to their biology. So, one of the examples that she gives is biological differences mean that women tend to be smaller and have a lower center of gravity. So, if we look at sports in gymnastics like the balance beam, this is something that only features in female gymnastics, whereas men have slightly different events, and this is something that's going to be because of differences of biology, um, meaning that women are going to be better optimized to doing things like the balance beam. So English notes that other associated characteristics include, quote, grace, coordination, flexibility, balance, buoyancy, and a smaller physical size. So English's argument then is that we should, as well as, English is a proponent of sex segregated sporting contests, but she also suggests that alongside these, there's a kind of requirement that we go in for the creation of new types of sports, which are more egalitarian. And so she makes a similar critique that a lot of sports that are popular have an implicit bias towards men because that was who they were originally set up to cater for. So this seems like a pretty radical proposal, and the philosopher Robert Simon is concerned that there's going to be some problems with this because if we're setting up these sports with the idea of these being women-focused sports, Simon's concerned that this is going to violate individual autonomy, and this is another rights concern that we might have. So people have a right to individual autonomy, by which we mean something like the ability to choose what's good for them. So Simon writes, quote, it is one thing, for example, to require that schools introduce students in physical education classes to a wide variety of sports and athletic activities, many of which are not biased in favor of male physiology. But it is quite another to require that female athletes compete in such activities, even if they are more interested in playing basketball, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, or golf. So Simon's concern here is that English's proposal is, if it's interpreted in certain ways, maybe going too far because we want to make sure that as much as girls are not disadvantaged in sports, we also want to make sure that they have the freedom to choose which sports that they want to take part in, rather than being artificially kind of constrained to only competing in sports that are adapted to their physiology. This seems to kind of be slightly too paternalistic in terms of depriving the options and the choices from women.